It's recording.
Apparently I'm the host. It's recording.
Okay, so Kristen's here. Jack is here.
Yeah.
I see some people down at the bottom, Alan, Jerry, and Allison. Okay. All right, we're ready to roll. Go ahead, Kristen. Or Kim.
Sure. I think first off, we wanted to just finish up the public access section and then wanted to talk about public meeting in 2 weeks. Just wanted to confirm, Jeff, that time is still good, that have we officially booked the room and everything?
Yes, it is all booked up.
Okay, perfect. So after we finish up public access, we should go into just talking about what the plan is for that day and talk about outreach and just making sure we're getting the word out.
And what's the date, time, and place again?
August.
Go ahead.
Okay, August 19th from 4 to 6 at the community room at the police station, right? It's 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. You think we'll be ready by then? Or is that discussion after access?
I think we'll be ready. I think I think that's kind of our last shot at getting a meeting on the books for the summer. And, I think we've got a ton of material. So I think we should be good to go.
I think what we asked the last time is that we make sure that we have something out in public before that, so people have something to actually digest.
Yeah, that's what that.
We have the document that was just sent around by Kim, and it's 28 pages, but it certainly would be, I think, the basis of anybody that wants to make a comment.
Yep. We should post that.
Yeah, the plan is, if people, obviously it's a lot of pages and we can just put draft all over it, but the plan would be to then post that online and also, have that be something that's sent to the mailing list and all of that. And, that would be one way for people to comment, is just to review it and send me a comment or come to the meeting. And, we'll probably talk through at a higher level a lot of the goals and recommendations and then gather feedback.
Okay.
I actually think it was a great job that you guys did, Kim. I mean,
We'll take it.
had 28 pages, but it sure beat 200 pages of what we had before.
Yeah.
I think maybe there can be some nibbling around the edges and combining a couple of objectives. I mean, but I think we really have something that we can now work on.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Glad it was helpful.
All right. Let's finish up public access.
All right, I'm going to try and share my screen. See if this works. We don't have much left to do. I think last call was really, really productive. Are you guys seeing a table?
Do we need to approve the agenda, or is that just technical?
Oh yeah, somebody want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion moved.
Second.
All right, Steve made the motion and Phil seconded. All those in favor, Steve?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Myself. Okie dokie, ready to roll.
Sorry, just technical. None of it matters.
That's good to do. All right, so we made it through all of the recommendations last time, which was amazing. Really appreciate your thoughts. I think the last part, and I believe I know the answer to this based on some of your comments in our last meeting, but the last part was that the initial draft you saw listed everything that we heard in the public meetings and the surveys, any other feedback, the interviews, whatever, related to specific things that people were interested in seeing at specific sites. And so I started to list those here, and I was hoping to build that out further with you all, except that at the last call, one of the recommendations had something to the effect of improve conditions at public access sites, consider improvements such as enhanced parking and restrooms and concession stands. And you guys wanted to remove all of that because I believe, if I remember correctly, the comment was you did not want people to have unrealistic expectations about what might happen at any of these sites.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, should I just internally share this table with you all as something that came out of the notes, but we don't necessarily need to include it formally as part of the plan? I'm just trying to get your sense. If you do want to include it, then we need to go through each one of these and see what you want to include and not.
I think we were pretty clear the last meeting not to include any of that specific language.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was still the case and everybody was on board with that.
Yeah, because we had a lot of reasons why we didn't want it included.
So this is really useful information and I'm totally fine with not including it, but I don't want to lose it. Phil and Jeff, if I give this to you guys as an internal resource, I don't know, Phil, if this would be of use to your committee. Jeff, I don't know if you just want to be sort of the main keeper of it. It's not perfect. It's very imperfect, but at least it captures what we heard. So that if somebody asks what happened to it, we can say it was shared.
Personally, I'll find it super helpful, so I'm happy to keep it.
Okay. And Phil, if I
Right,
cleaned it
keep
up
her
a
the
little bit.
flame.
I would love to have a meeting where maybe Kristen and Kim, you guys we could do a Zoom for the Roads and Right of Way Committee, because I really think that would be to actually get them, because there's so much of that they are involved with. I think for them to actually be on a call with us, sort of like the way you had the coastal resiliency thing, I think it would really be helpful.
Okay. Happy to do that. Do you want to do that when the plan is a little more along so that they can weigh in on the whole thing? We can give them a draft basically and then have a meeting.
I think so.
All right. Well, then I think we're done with public access.
Because I don't think we want to give this committee something that doesn't have a form and shape to it. Because if you know the people on the committee, we could go around in circles for hours.
I literally get hours.
What's that?
You could go on for days.
All right. Well, then.
Linda knows who we're talking about.
Yes, I do, unfortunately.
Great. So I think we're done. I will clean this up and Jeff and Phil, I'll send it to both of you guys as a better looking version of what it is.
Okay.
With some background on where it came from, just in case it ever gets separated from its original owners. Kim, it's back to you.
All right, sounds good. So congratulations, everyone. We went through all the sections, which is very exciting. And thanks for putting in your time on that, because that's definitely a lot of work and a lot to review. And so I'm not sure if you all have had a chance to look at the goals, objectives, recommendations document. It's, there's a lot in there, and I don't expect us to go page by page at all during this call to go through it, because it's kind of what we've already done is go through this in each of the meetings that we've had for these different sections. Really, I think, wanted a general overview impression. If you saw anything that really alerted you, something that you wanted us to change, let me know. But wanted to, just see if you had any comments or concerns about that being posted online. I'm guessing it will be posted on the town harbor plan website, and we can direct people to that and, have people go and take a look, and they can provide comments at either the public meeting or through email.
So Kim, I think it would be really helpful, and I don't know how we do this. I mean, I read through the whole thing, and it seemed to me that there were a lot of recommendations that could be combined in a recommendation. In other words, rather than having 10, maybe have 8 or 7, and skim them down a little bit. In other words, if there are ones that are related, recommendations are related, maybe combine them.
Yep.
Well, I think we went into this as we went through each section, there was a lot of overlap.
Right.
And some things are in one section and they're also in the other section because it impacts another section, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So I don't know about, do we want to combine them? But which section does it go to kind of thing? Because it affects each section in a different way, but it's the same thing. So if we combine them and cut them down, that means we take it out of one section and put it someplace. So that's why I'm worried about
As
cutting
long
all
as
the
they-
overlap.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chairwoman,
Yeah.
as long as we don't, what I'm worried about is that a recommendation gets diluted or goes away because we're trying to do this and save
Okay.
space. It's
Yeah.
important. So what if it's 28 pages, but then what if it becomes 56 pages? And so what? We're trying to update the plan. It's going to last for 10 years or however long, but we shouldn't do something that's going to omit something that we were passionate about during the process just to save a little space.
I couldn't agree more, and I think we just look at it and see if there's anything we can do.
Okay.
I couldn't agree more, because you don't want to bury something in there. But I think this is the first time we've actually seen all this laid out in this format, and I think that we probably all need to individually do a close reading of it and see if there's anything that could be done to improve clarity or whatever.
I agree.
Yep.
Madam Chairman,
Yeah. Go ahead.
through you. Kim, are you anticipating like breakout sections like you did before? Or are we just gonna go section by section and accept comments from the public? What was your format you were thinking of?
Yeah, we've been talking about this and nothing has been really formalized, but what we were thinking might make the most sense is, since this is a hybrid meeting, so we'll have people online as well. What might be the easiest is, rather than doing breakout tables, and the room isn't really a great setup for breakout tables, we probably would just, go through, present, probably, I'm guessing, do one big, not super long, but 20-minute or something presentation at the beginning, and then go back and go section by section and ask people for feedback on each of those sections. Open to opinions on that, though, if you think that's the right way to do it, but we wanted to, provide an opportunity for people in person to participate, but also people could raise their hand online and participate. And we'll have, someone from UHI on the screen monitoring that.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so I don't, if you guys have any feedback on that, we're open to it if you think a different way would be better.
No, well, my feedback is you're exactly right. The room is just not set up for breakout sessions, but are you planning on having hard copies available for that night?
Uh-oh, hold on, sorry, my sound just went out. Can you say that one more time?
Are you going to have hard copies for that night?
Jeff, would we be able to print out some hard copies of this?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem.
All right,
We can do it here. We can do it in the office, more than likely.
thanks.
Yeah, I can print out 25 or 30 copies. I'll have it there.
Great.
We have copies here for those of you, Linda and Dave and whatever. We have copies of the plan.
I know. I asked them to do it the other day because I'm not going to read it on my computer. So they do have copies for people if they want to come get one.
So you got to figure out how to come get it. I didn't realize we were doing that. I went to the copy center.
Yeah, I said my copy machine wouldn't put up with that. It'll resist.
So anyhow, you guys who don't have a copy, maybe coordinate with Jeff. You come back to your office or something if you want to come.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. If you need a copy or.
We've got-
anyone needs a copy, just need
We've
that.
got 5 copies here.
Yeah.
We now have 4 copies.
Thanks.
Okay, where are we going next?
Okay, well, so just talk about the meeting structure, which it sounds like we have one, so I'll put together an agenda. Then I have, thank you, Phil, for correcting my typo in the flyer. Definitely didn't see that, but much appreciated. So we have the flyer ready to go. I can send out an email today to our mailing list. If the goals and objectives document, we'll put draft all over it, but if that's good as is, we can get that posted onto the town website as well. And then it's just a matter of, getting the word out to people, what kind of outreach we can do. Everybody can send it to their own constituents, which would be great. And, just trying to spread the word as much as possible.
Would there be some kind of a little block ad in the AKM notice or something like that, or?
We'll probably send it to like the Inky and Current, see if they'll run it, or we'll post it up on our socials. A lot of times they'll reprint those.
Gotcha.
We'll say we're kind of waiting. We have a big open house on a different project on Wednesday. So probably start.
Flyer or something.
We'll have a flyer there, but we'll probably also start really posting it up on like our town social media on Thursday.
Okay.
So we didn't want to confuse people that some date had moved or something.
Yeah.
I'd like to recommend open bar.
Sounds like the Admiralty Club to me.
Yeah, maybe we should have had this at the Admiralty Club.
Hey, wherever, I have a pouring license, so wherever you want to go. It was a retirement gift from the licensing agent.
That's great.
Let's do it right there at 4G. Let's go.
No problem.
You always do get better public comments that way. Any questions on any of that? I know I'll definitely be there in person. And then we're going to figure out between UHI who will come in person and then who will be moderating online. But we'll have note takers and, a PowerPoint ready to go.
So at the risk of being redundant, since I wasn't at the last two meetings, can you, Kim, just sort of give us a brief rundown on timeline then after this public meeting?
Good question. Timeline. So we haven't put one together, but we can.
Okay.
But really right now we are getting pretty close with a draft plan. We have our background sections mostly written. We now have finished public access, and we have been sending around sections to some people to review some different sections, and we'll continue to do that. But I would say, we likely, I'm looking towards Kristen and Jack to see if they're going to say I'm crazy, but we likely could have a draft plan sometime in September, maybe later September. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then that would be a full draft plan that would be then ready for review. And then Kristen, what then happens after we have the draft plan ready?
So once we have the draft plan ready, we'll send it out for public review. We'll probably have another public meeting, and then it will be finalized, put forward to the select board, and then go through the select board approval process, however long that takes, in whatever form it needs to be in. And then once it's approved municipally, it has to go through the state approval process. So that's, Steve has been part of these meetings. He's well aware of what's going on. So we'll probably have a last consultation with him before anything goes to the select board, just to make sure that what the select board approves is the same thing that the state is going to approve. And so after we've consulted with Steve and the select board approves it, there'll be a public hearing process that the state runs, which is pretty, I don't know, but we've rarely gotten a lot of input. I think at the last plan, this is where we got a little stuck with lawyers coming in. Dave or Jack, is this where the yacht club's lawyers decided that they wanted to all of a sudden get engaged in the plan? So that threw things off timeline wise a little bit and content wise a little bit, not significantly. And then it will go through the final state approval process, which UHI will work in partnership with the state to make sure it happens, and you guys will have a plan. I think the 2-year window goes well through half of 2025, so we're not in any risk of needing to request an extension, I say, we'll see how that looks this time next year, but we should have a plan to you well in
Okay,
advance.
so, Madam Chair, one more question, if I might, and maybe getting ahead of ourselves, but looking toward the end game, how do we incorporate into this recommendation or something? Do we discuss an implementation committee or setting up an implementation committee, or how does that work?
Well, it was set up as part of the recommendation or something, I think, Dave, the last time we did this,
Yes.
that there had to be an implementation committee. Now, it would have made sense back in the day for the same group that did it to be the implementation committee, because we understood the issues. But they put on a whole bunch of new people that then went amok. So I still think we should suggest that we carry on with the implementation part of it. Same group, same people, because we know this thing on a granular level, as opposed to trying to explain it to some people that have never started this.
So
makes
maybe
sense, Dave?
sort of toward the end of the whole plan as one of the final recommendations, so stands out for the select board to see.
If I
And
may,
here it is. Now we need to do it.
I think we'll have to have something like that, or I would recommend having something like that for when it gets presented to the select board. That's been a request lately from the select board and town administration that any large scale initiatives have some level of implementation plan that goes with them when they're done. So I think even if it's a separate document or bullet points that say, this is what we're recommending.
Yep.
Then they at least have an idea what it is.
Mhm.
But
Right, so
Yeah,
basically, we feed it to them and then they give it back to us.
better, of course.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, and in the actual plan, we've taken it out for just the sake of this draft here, but we will put responsible parties in there. And we didn't want to include it in this draft because those we definitely want to vet by you guys. We don't want to start calling people out and then they read this and say, wait, I have to do what? But there will be responsible parties that we want to run by you guys, and we'll run by all the responsible parties as well to make sure they're okay with that.
Good.
Just, can I take a quick sense of the committee on something?
Yeah.
Once the draft goals, objectives and recommendations get finished up, I was kind of thinking prior to even the public meeting on the 19th, so I know everyone's schedule is busy. I have a pretty good grasp from the original document, which departments are probably gonna have some involvement in. I was gonna circulate this document to that group as at least a heads up, this is coming and we'll be in touch with specifics, but here are all of them. If you have any that you're specifically interested in or have some thoughts, just to kind of put the toe in the water with that group.
Makes sense to me, rather than sandbagging them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I know I always get angry when I get the email that's like, hey, you've been signed up to shepherd this part of this. Congratulations. Well, it's only, no, that'd be great.
yeah, so
Oh, it's,
about like Marine Department and DPW and all those kind of people.
Yeah. The health
Well, not-
department.
not only that, but, you know, there's other departments, you know, planning and some other folks. I mean, it's just far better to have them aware that this is coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
That they may need to be consulted and have some responsibilities.
Well, particularly since they're in the middle of doing the update on the master plan, because some of this may actually fit into that master plan. There are one or two sections of that master plan. I was involved when they wrote it the first time. So I can see some of this stuff sort of fitting into their objectives also.
Well, I didn't hear the first part of Jeff's comment, but Jeff, did you say like at the cabinet level? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was reading it right. It's just, that's a good forum because you get a lot of exposure very, very quickly around one table.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okey-dokey. Is there anything else we need today, or is this going to be our shortest meeting on the planet?
Yes, I have something to say.
Peter,
Okay. So I'm way behind on the minutes, as we all know.
We know.
Okay, this committee, when I wasn't there, made me secretary, or you appointed me secretary and waited till I came back to see if I would do it, and I really didn't have a choice because you all decided that I should be the one because somebody thought I was good at it. And I've made an attempt to really, over the winter, get caught up, and now I'm behind again. And I'm worried that when this committee is disbanded, if my minutes aren't done by then, who will vote on them? And so I'm asking for help. And I want to see if each member of the committee will do one set of minutes to help it get caught up. I'll send out a tutorial on how to do it and the template that I use, and then you guys could all help me. That would get us done. I'm maybe 10 behind, maybe 10 or 12 behind.
Well, the only thing I can say about that, I don't think any of us mind taking on one of them. The only thing I could say, Peter, is that you do really detailed minutes. Town council has told us innumerable times, because I used to take the minutes for the ZBA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Who was here? Did you vote on something? What was the general gist of the conversation? We're done. You don't have to go on more than 1 or 2 pages at the most. So everybody remember that. It's very simple. What's the date? What's the time? Who was here? What was staff? What were the general topics of discussion? Not verbatim. And then did we take a vote? And the vote has to be registered. That's pretty much it.
Robert's Rules of Order says that the minutes should be a sense of the meeting. And so being on tab for almost 11 years now, I've seen different people do the minutes, and I've seen the bare bones all the way up to my crazy stenographer style. It doesn't have to be fancy, but you just have to say the topics that were discussed and the votes that were taken.
Peter, what are you using for your reference? Are you using the recording?
Right.
Well, I can certainly help. I can do a couple of those if you can figure out how to send those to me. I can help you with a couple.
I will make sure that everybody knows, how to do it, how to get the links, and then just start
Which
assigning.
ones are missing, Peter? Which ones are missing? Because you have given us here and there. We've gotten some. You got to give us a list of which ones are missing.
Right. Of course, I'll do that. But I just wanted to get, your acceptance of my idea at this meeting before I went off and did that. And as Jeff said, you don't want to be sandbagged with, hey, by the way, you're going to do minutes for me, because
Everybody, when you don't go to a meeting and somebody's got to be appointed, it's going to be that person.
well, I've learned a valuable lesson, and I will never miss a meeting where they're appointing executive officers. So if you guys are all game, that would be great. I know that people aren't in attendance, and so
They're the ones that are gonna get sandbagged.
no, I'm not going to screw anybody. But
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm going to explain that this is what we discussed at the meeting, and everybody seemed amenable to it, and please play along. And
Yep.
so.
All right, Peter, send that out through Jeff and ask everybody to sign up for one and send those signups back to Jeff. So there's not 2 of us by accident, same meeting kind of thing. So Jeff can coordinate who's doing what meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for making that attempt. It's a pain in the ass. I know that.
I just did
Did
2
it for
sets of
25
chat minutes
years.
in less than 24 hours. It's a lot of work.
I remember everybody keep it simple.
Yeah, don't
right, anything else?
don't try and be like me.
Anything else going on here that we need to talk about?
When's our next meeting?
Alrighty then.
Next meeting,
The
When
next
is our next
meeting
meeting?
will be,
public
let's
meeting.
see, well, it will be the public meeting. I don't think there's a big need to meet beforehand, just, at the public meeting, it'd be great if you could attend, and, kind of similar to last time, just provide your own input, help answer questions from the audience that might come up. I don't know if anybody else sees the need for us to meet before that.
Didn't we, when we had our public meeting last year, we had that meeting in June last year, that we meet like briefly to sort of
Sorry, did we what?
Sorry, was going by.
Met before that.
But that meeting that we had last year, the public input meeting, we met like for maybe 20 minutes before that, just to sort of get our game plan straight. I'm not saying we
Yeah.
want another meeting, but I'm just saying that was helpful.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
if
for
you guys
those,
could
for
come.
those, yeah, for those who can meet at 3:30,
Mhm.
fine. Those who can't, fine.
So
Figure
show
it
up
out.
there.
Yeah,
Will the room be available at 3:30?
Or we just sit outside in the breeze.
Just get there early and then we can prep
Find-
ourselves
find
for what's
place.
coming. That's all.
Okay.
We don't have to have a whole separate meeting at another time.
Right. But do we have to post it as a meeting if we're actually
I
all
would post
together?
it as a committee meeting at 3:30, and if we show up, we show up.
So we don't get accused of violating
We would
open
have to-
meeting laws.
We would have to post the event as a committee meeting anyway, because we all want to be there. So
So post
So
it.
Post it
just post it
early.
at 3:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Post the public meeting at 4 o'clock and the committee meeting at 3:30 and leave it at that. They have to be separate.
I'll take care of the vote.
Anything else, anybody?
Just then after that, my guess is our next meeting would be September 9th. Because the second is Labor Day. Would that work for people, September 9th?
Maybe the planning board, you gotta check to make sure that's not the planning board day. They start at 4 in this room.
Mhm.
We're there, we're in the trailer there at the
Okay.
main building, but we have to make sure there's nothing, two things aren't going on at the same time.
Okay, or we also could do the 16th. I think, we kind of have the bulk of what we need right now. So likely it won't be an hour and a half meeting. I think it can be still just an hour meeting, and kind of more of a check-in. Would the 16th work for people, or is that still possibly planning board?
I just have to check. I don't know when the planning
Okay.
board's meeting that month. It's either
Okay.
the 9th or the 16th.
All right, well, I'll email it with you
Later in the
then.
day.
planning board meets at
4 or
4 or
something.
5, right?
Yeah.
At 4, no, 4,
4.
yeah.
Well, we're not certainly going to run that late,
No, we meet at 4 with yeah, that's true. It's not on the same time period. Okay, I'm just thinking about the public hearing. Yeah, we should be
Certainly
fine.
won't have a lawnmower
Either
going by.
day. Oh, God, yeah. Either date is fine with me.
Okay,
Unless we want to have a 3-hour meeting,
I keep thinking, I looked at the time of the public meeting and that's 4.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a 4-hour meeting.
Oh, yeah. No, I go to one of those every week on Tuesday night at the HTC. All right, guys, we ready to go?
Yes.
Gotta go file some stuff.
okay,
All right.
let's plan on for our next meeting, the 16th of September. I have that on the calendar. And in the meantime, we're gonna be doing our own work internally and, finalizing comments and all of that. Does that work?
All right, somebody make a motion to adjourn at 1:40.
So moved.
second,
Is that Pete? Okay, Peter made the motion, Bill seconded. All those in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Bill,
aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and me. Aye, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.